Hello and welcome to the Aptian video series, Getting to Know ProcessPro Global. In today's session, we are going to review the Design Studio application, which is included with ProcessPro Global. We'll learn how we can add new custom fields, change the layouts of both our screens or forms and reports, design dashboards and alerts, and even design our own interactive views. So let's take a look. If we open up Design Studio, we can see the ability to manage a lot of changes in the ProcessPro global system. For example, if we wanted to change a report in the system, maybe we want to take a look at our quality C of A form. If we scroll down, we can find our certificate of analysis and design this. And when we make changes to this, it's going to update in our system, and we can even make multiple versions of the C of A. Maybe one customer has some very specific requirements. Maybe even a change as simple as our page number being one of the total pages, and then we can make a change and then save that in our system. We can use the default for everyone or give it a very specific layout name, maybe a specific layout for a customer. All right. We can also do things like design our screens, which we call forms. So maybe, for example, in our accounts payable, our vendor maintenance, we decide we want to change the layout of the screen a little bit. Maybe we want to grab our account number and drop it right below the vendor name. No problem. This is also where we could add custom fields and position them on the screen. Maybe a new custom field with some field that's very specific requirement for your business. We could add it, assign it to the vendor, and position it on the screen. In this case, we could do the same thing. We can save it using the default or give it a specific name. Maybe one user is going to open up the vendor maintenance and see a completely different layout than another user, and we can do that by naming our screen and then assigning it to user groups. All right, and we'll see some of these changes in just a second. Maybe another change is we want to open up our report designer and maybe our sales order invoice. We have a notes field available on that screen, and maybe we want to position it up on the header area of the invoice. Maybe this is notes we really want to stand out to our customer. So we can go down to our sales order invoice. Once again, click design, and then open up our report designer. Now keep in mind, we have a field list and a number of different toolbox tools here to design these screens and reports. So in this case, I might come down, go find our notes field, and drag and drop that. Maybe we want to position it right under the sold to. Maybe kind of position it out, looks nice. We can even set some parameters to say this is multi-line and can grow with a word wrap. Maybe we also want to come in here and maybe just bump the font up a little bit. We can certainly make those types of changes very quickly. Or maybe we do the same type of thing here. We want to do page of the total. And now we can make our changes. Once again, elect to name the layout or create it as the default for everyone. Awesome. So you can see we're making a number of changes to the system. We'll go ahead and head into ProcessPro Global in just a moment and take a look at some of these changes and how they impact the system. Next, we'll take a look at how we can design dashboards, which is a great way to kind of present data to our users right when they open up ProcessPro Global. You probably saw this in an earlier session. So in this case, we'll head over to our dashboard designer, and maybe we have one where we want a dashboard that shows with a badge the number in terms of dollars of shipped orders in sales orders that have not posted. So essentially, this is pending accounts receivable dollars. So we see here, I made it a tile view, not a grid or chart, and I added my data source. And on the tile view, I can do things like assign the colors here. We can even preview that to see, yep, there's $8,479 of orders which have shipped but not posted to accounts receivable. And then we can save that and have it available in our dashboard. We could do the same thing with our alert designer where we create the data source for our alerts, and then we schedule those alerts right in ProcessPro Global. In some cases, we may want to edit some interactive views or even create our own interactive view. So we could head to our views table and maybe we're looking at our AP invoice interactive view here, and maybe we want to change our default columns that first appear. We can certainly make changes. Maybe we don't want to see as a default the discount due date or the discount amount. Is a change as simple as that. We can then save that and then customize it for the company. So that's no longer the default columns. It has a new list of default columns, or maybe even open up our data source, adjust the data source so that it looks at some new fields, maybe on the vendor or the AP invoice. Awesome. We also mentioned that we can add custom fields. And of course, if I come in here and we add a new custom field to the system, kind of toggle in here. If we add a custom field, we can add a text field. It might be a number, a date, even a color, or maybe an entity in the system. In an example here, maybe I want a drop-down list of all my employees on my AP vendor that says who set up this AP vendor, and it's an employee list that I select. And we'll just go ahead and delete that for now. So let's go ahead and pause the video. We'll open up ProcessPro Global and we'll take a look at some of these changes that we made in the system. All right, so now we have ProcessPro Global open, and let's take a look at some of the changes that we made. For example, we added a dashboard item for shipped orders but not posted. So here we can select that dashboard and then decide where on our screen we want to position that dashboard. And there's our dashboard that we can then save that layout. So every time we open up ProcessPro Global, we're seeing this important number, which again, the value of shipped orders not posted. We also made some report changes. So for example, if we head into our quality control and maybe go look at our certificate of analysis or our C of A, we can call up one of our products here and just see that very simple change we made where we have a page number of the total at the top. Perfect, and now we can see that report change. In some cases, like the C of A, we might actually set up some parameters directly on the customer that says, what things do you want to print on the C of A? And select a different layout. Again, a very specific layout that was created just for that customer. All right, we also made a change to the accounts payable vendor screen. So if we head into our setup and maintenance and go look at our vendor screen, we can see we positioned our account number from the lower right corner up right underneath the vendor name. And just a reminder, we could have also named this layout and then assigned it to certain user groups. So certain groups see one layout of a screen, other user groups see a different screen layout. Next, we did make a change to the sales order invoice. So maybe we want to head into our sales order application. And let's go call up an order and preview an invoice and just see a very simple change we made by dragging the notes field underneath the sold to. So here we do have a notes field directly on the sales order transaction. And so now if we go ahead and preview our invoice, we'll see that we have the notes field as well as the page number up at the top. So page 1 of 2. Again, very easy changes to make very quickly in the Design Studio application. So whether we're scheduling and designing alerts or dashboards or making report or form changes, or maybe making changes to an interactive view or adding custom fields, Design Studio gives you a ton of power in the ProcessPro global system to control those changes without having to call a programmer to help. Hopefully this made sense. Thanks so much and have a great day.